Hey Evelyn, welcome back to McStory Time with Miss McMahon. Guess what we're going to talk about this week? I have a picture of it right here. Can you tell me what animal you see on the back cover of this book? Did you say squirrel? Oh, you are right. It is a squirrel. Girls, have you ever seen a squirrel? I bet you have. I bet you have seen squirrels running around outside, running up fences or running up trees and scurrying around branches high up in the trees. Well, guess what? Squirrels are actually very busy this time of the year. You might see a few extra running around because they are busy gathering food for the winter time, because guess what? It's not summertime anymore, is it? Our season has changed from summer to fall. Have you noticed that the leaves on the trees are falling to the ground? They've changed color from green to reds and yellows and orange, and the leaves are falling off the trees, and the weather is getting a little bit colder. Well, the animals, particularly squirrels, right, that we're talking about this week, they know that cold weather, the cold winter weather is coming. So they know it's time to prepare and gather food for the winter. So they are very busy. They've got a lot to do. So that is why we are reading the story this week called The Busy Little Squirrel. This squirrel is very busy getting ready for winter, right? Have you ever been very busy? Had lots of things to do, right? Lots of fun things to do. Your mommies and daddies are very busy, right? Taking care of you, taking care of the house, going to work, right? We are all very busy, right? Preparing for things. So we're going to read The Busy Little Squirrel by Nancy Teferi. And it looks like she is the author, the person who wrote the story, and she's the illustrator, the person who drew the pictures, like we've talked about. The Busy Little Squirrel. Let's see how busy he is. Leaves were falling. The air was getting cold. Right? And that little squirrel knows he's got to get busy. Get busy gathering. It was time for Squirrel to get ready for winter. Squeak, squeak, said Mouse. Will you nibble a pumpkin with us? Do you think he can? But Squirrel couldn't. You're right. Because guess what? He was so busy. Looks like he was trying to get some fruit off a tree. Look, he can jump. Woo! Jump and catch that fruit. Squirrels are good jumpers. Good climbers and good jumpers. Sweet, sweet, said Bird. Will you rest on a branch with us? But guess what? Squirrel couldn't. But Squirrel couldn't, could he? He was so busy. Look what he was busy doing. Gathering some bird feed from the bird feeder. Croak, croak, said Frog. Will you hop on rocks with us? But Squirrel, guess what, girls? But Squirrel couldn't. What do you think he's going to gather next? Look, some berries off a tree or a bush. He was so busy, wasn't he, doing all that? Meow, meow, said Cat. Will you lie in the sun with us? But Squirrel couldn't. Guess what he's doing? He was so busy gathering what, girls? You're right, acorns. I think that these acorns might be Squirrel's favorite things to gather. Woof, woof, said Dog. Will you run in the field with us? But Squirrel couldn't. play with the dog, run in the field with the dogs? Because he was what, girls? He was so busy. Look what he's doing now. Look, he's gathering something. Ooh, do you know what this is? You're right, it's a corn stalk. This is where corn grows. It grows on stalks. And they grow on a cob, right? It's the corn on the cob is hiding underneath. Let's see what happens next. Hoo, 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 called Owl. Will you watch the moon with us? But Squirrel couldn't. Was he still busy? Do you think he was still busy? Not this time. This time he was fast asleep. He was so busy, girls, gathering all his food, and at the end of the day, he couldn't hoo with Mr. Owl because he was so tired, and he was fast asleep. The end, right? Sometimes when you're very busy all day, at the end of the day, you are what? Very, very tired, just like Mr. Squirrel. Well, girls, I've enjoyed reading that story with you, and I have a little surprise to show you. Actually, it's something that you have in your take-home bags. I'm going to show you, and we're going to work on it together. If you don't have it, that's okay too. You can think about your answer, okay, and do this along with me, okay? The paper that you had in your take-home bag looks like this. There's a spot at the top to put your name. Okay, your mommy and daddy can help you do that. And the words on it say, will you, and then there's a blank space that is what you're going to think about and fill in the answer. Your mommy and daddy can fill it in for you. It says, will you, blank space, you're going to think of that, with us. Do you remember all of Squirrel's friends asked him to do different things, right? Like his frog friend asked him to croak with him, and Mr. Bird wanted him to sit on the branch with him, right? And Mr. Owl wanted to whoo with him. Well, we're going to pretend that we're a friend of Mr. Squirrel, and we're going to ask Mr. Squirrel to do something, okay, with us. But guess what? But Squirrel couldn't because he was what? So busy. That's what it says on the bottom. So what we're going to do, we're going to think of something. Now, Miss McMahon, now this can be your own thought, okay? If you're Squirrel's friend, you're going to think of something that you might want to do with Squirrel on your own, but we'll talk about it as an example right now. But Miss McMahon likes to cook. I like to bake. I like to bake cookies, right? I bet you might too. Well, my answer would be, will you make cookies with us, right? We're asking Squirrel, will you make cookies with us? And your mommy and daddy can put cookies in that blank spot. Or whatever you think that you want Squirrel to do with you, okay? A fun activity to do with Squirrel. But Squirrel can't because he's too busy. But I have my crayons with me. And if you have some crayons at home, I know you do, or some markers, okay? I know you've got some markers at home too. All right. And your mommy and daddy can, but my answer would be cookies. Will you bake cookies? So I'm going to write bake cookies in my blank spot. I wrote bake cookies with us. And then your job is to think of your answer and then draw a picture of what your answer is. So my answer is baking cookies. So I'm going to draw a picture of a big, delicious looking chocolate chip cookie. So I know my cookies are round. I'm going to draw a round chocolate chip cookie and color it in. Like so. Ta-da! And then I will add some chocolate chips. I'll get one of my other crayons out of my box. Let's see, my chocolate chips. my little chocolate chips. I'm gonna add some little tiny chocolate chips to my cookie. Okay. Okay. So here we are. So we are asking, or Miss McMahon is asking Mr. Squirrel, will you bake cookies with us? But Squirrel couldn't, because why? He was so busy, right? He was so busy. All right, girls. Well, I've enjoyed our time together with the very busy little squirrel. The busy little squirrel. All right. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.